A brand new season of Star Trek Lower Decks has begun, and man, is there a whole lot of new things. I'm really broken up about the fact that the series is ending, but at the same time, I see already they're going to go out with a big bang. All right, guys, you know what time it is. Computer, play that intro. What's up, my know-it-alls? It's time for a whole new season of Star Trek Lower Decks, the final season of Star Trek Lower Decks, also affectionately known as Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5. There's a lot of things that go into making a Star Trek show, and none of them is more fun at poking at than the idea of alternate realities. It started with Mirror Mirror and sort of continues on with many, many different episodes. Next Generation kind of made it its cottage industry for a brief while to just do nothing but keep cranking out various versions of this concept.
We won't go back. The Federation's gone. The Borg is everywhere. We're one of the last ships left, please. You've got to help us.
This episode is literally the same thing. So the episode starts with Captain Freeman and the crew of the Cerritos coming up on an anomaly in space, and what they do is they get sucked into it or through it and find themselves in an alternate dimension where Mariner, as it turns out, is the captain of the Cerritos.
On screen.
What up, Cerritos? This is Captain Becky Freeman. Looks like we have a lot to discuss.
They don't get too much into whether or not her mom, what happened to her mom, though Captain Beck keeps checking. Like, what happened? What happened to your kid? What happened? What's going on? And then ultimately they find out she's been assigned to the tail end of the galaxy at a starbase like 80. And so what happens is apparently Beckett runs her crew with like an iron fist.
Whoa, why's everybody on edge? Because I keep them on edge. Ensign, back straight, stop slouching.
Yes, Captain.
Fear is the best motivator.
And so when the Beckett from the other universe sees ours, she misses that old life. And so, of course, stereotypical, she takes the opportunity to try to make a switcheroo.
Oh my god, are you replacing me? Oh, do you know how hacky that is? Yes, and I don't care. How do I look? Cute, which sucks.
They catch on and then and ultimately prevent that from happening. The fun part about this episode really is seeing all the alternate versions of people. Boimler is his perfect Riker-esque Boimler self, which is hilarious. Rutherford has, or as he calls his alternate, Rutherford, is almost shy of being a Borg. Like, the guy's fully all cybernetic, and it's really interesting because in their universe, when Tendi left, he didn't want to feel it anymore, so he just threw himself into his work. It's kind of similar parallel to what our Rutherford's going through. So what does he do? He reprograms his alternate's brain so that he's willing to make friends. They get to know each other. It's actually it's an interesting thing.
What are you doing?
Just making a small adjustment to your friendship matrix.
I am not here to make friends.
There.
I am here to make friends.
And he starts to realize that he's got to continue life. He can't do this the way he had thought he was going to do it. So what ends up happening is that the Beckett from the other universe decides that she's going to inevitably try to steal the ship. She switches places rather with the other Mariner, who escapes just before they're going to make it to the rift. They got to stop them. It's Star Trek. Come on. I know that I love these kinds of episodes. On the B plot, Tendi, who is still in Orion, is dealing with the fact that her crew wants to always kill people, and she's trying to get them to stop that and change how they are. And they encounter Blue Orions, or Orions, whatever you want to call them.
Green Orions.
Blue Orions?
That's a great callback to the old Star Trek, the animated series. If you're familiar with that at all, the Blue Orions was what the animated series did as Orions, which is pretty interesting. Down to like the outfit and everything. It's pretty funny. And so what you get is they think that one of Tendi's officers stabs the dude, almost killing him, And she's like, well, go, I'm going to check on one thing, blah, blah, blah. And they leave, and Tendi real quick heals him. And so he files a complaint with the Queen of the Orions, stating that they used unpirate-like conduct or behavior or whatever. And so that, yeah. And so he's now got to, they're going to be brought up on charges, if you will. And that'll be the next episode. So there you go. Now you know, after the battle, you have to know it yourself. I intend to do the score for both episodes and then a combined for the premiere. So this episode's not bad. This definitely sets the stage and gets everything started. I would say this episode gets a good solid 7. It isn't the best episode in the world, but it's definitely the first episode of the new batch of the finale of the last season. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on the first episode, and then now we'll go ahead and get into the second one.
All right, what do you want? What, you gonna hit me with your little riding crop a couple times through the road?
Episode 2 continues on the heels of episode 1. I'm actually very glad that they put them together as it's not a two-parter. It's not a part 1 or part 2, but it's definitely the second half of something. Seeing where Beckett could have been, and ultimately Boimler seeing where he could have been. Boimler, the last episode, stole his alternate's pad, which has all his alternates information. Now, I don't know that this technically breaks any rules in Starfleet, only because it's not like it's future information, it's just parallel information. So he sees all the things that made other Boimler awesome, and so he wants to be that. So he's already starting to grow some whiskers, and he has a team, and he's got these pointers is what they call them. Pointers? Yeah, pointers. It's fun. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed seeing it. I thought that it was a good, it's fun to see Boimler being successful on any level, because Lord knows, man's got a hard time. As he's trying his best, Beckett shows up, and she's also trying to be less like her alternate. And so she leans very heavily into the idea of, hey man, why don't you be the fun boss? Let him go take a break, this and that. He does.
And that means we can have some fun too. Come on, be the fun boss, Boims.
The fun boss? I could be the fun boss. Brad Boimler, fun boss. Yeah, I'll do it. I'm in.
That turned out to be the wrong decision, because what ends up happening is they get kidnapped. Why? Their mission, they're on a planet that has just entered a post-scarcity era. Replicator technology exists now. They're getting rid of all the money. It's basically the Down with Capitalism episode. And so they're there trying to help the switch over, if you will. And so there's a whole bunch of rich folks who don't want their status and money, like they can't stand not being at the top of the hill, that kind of thing. So what ends up happening is that they take hostages, and 2 of the people they take are Boimler's officers. And so Beckett helps Boimler rescue them. Amidst the rescue, you find out that they faked their deaths by using his pointers. And so what they did, they found a bug. The bug makes them look like they're fake dead, and in the whole 9 yards. But yeah, it's an interesting storyline. The big storyline in episode 2 is the flip of episode 1, which is this time it's Tendi. Like I said, the Blue Orions complain to the Queen. And what happens when you complain to the Queen? She makes you have to go on a race. I don't know why a pirate culture is racing. I would have assumed it would be more close to like a mock time, some sort of a death trial or trial by knives or something. I don't know. But nope, it's both houses. The Blue Orion house is challenged, the Tendi family, and so what happens is they have to abide by the rules of the challenge, which is if they lose the race, they have to go to their shooting point, get the prize, come back. If they lose, their entire wealth gets stripped from them and gets given to the other opponents. Add insult to injury, Tendi finds out her sister's pregnant.
But there's just too much on the line, and now I have to keep my pregnancy secret.
She's worried, and so she's Starfleet worried, not Orion worried. And so being Starfleet worried, she's like, hey, I don't want you to hurt yourself. I don't want you, whatever. You got to figure something out. And so what she does is she winds up almost losing them the race, the competition, because she's so worried about her sister having a kid. So they crash. The Blue Orions pass them up and are going to go to do the thing, and they're on the way back. The Blue Orions, they've made it there. They come back. And this time, Tendi happens to, just by coincidence in plot armor, there is a comet that is coming by. She manages to lasso the comet. Yes, just like that. She lassos the comet. Who does this? Apparently she does. It's pretty interesting. So the whole time, Starfleet's got a plan. They managed to attack the Blue Orions, get on their ship, and what does she do? Tendi, being a genius that she is, she destroys the prize, which pisses off the Queen.
You blew it up!
It was a tie. Pretty smart, right?
No! Everyone loses! The Syndicate will be taking both of your houses' wealth.
They're not like destitute, they just have nothing. Meaning they're not like kicked out on the street, they just got all their wealth is taken away. And so what happens? Tendi goes home. And when she gets there, she finds out they need help disposing of the wealth of this other planet. I don't have to tell you, I really don't. She ends up saving the day. Oh yeah, it's and for her family. And so, and of course, she's going to be an auntie in the process. But yeah, so there you go. Now you know. If knowing half the battle, you're halfway to make a know-it-all yourself. What are the know-it-all index for you for this episode? I think for both parts, not to lie, this episode I liked better. It was clearly the end of the particular line. I'm gonna go with an 8. Gonna go 8 out of 10 for sure. All right, guys. Comment below. Let me know what you thought. Are you excited Star Trek is back? I know I am. Star Trek Lower Decks is wonderful. Baby Know-It-All apologizes she wasn't able to make it this morning. Poor thing. She's going to college now, right? So she's older, she's wiser, she's everything else, whatever, and she's exhausted. So she's going to definitely make an effort to try to get some more rest for next week and be on the show next week. But so don't worry. You will absolutely see her on the next one. All right, guys, I'll talk to you again very soon. Hailing frequencies closed. Never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.